Yo, 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 yo. What's good with it, man? It's the homie Mac. Music, art, culture, knowledge. Um, Reporting live from the Dogon. Each one teach one, each one teach one. Peace and love to all. Subscribe to the YouTube channel 82 Kings. Follow the movement on Instagram at MacTV_82. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that, man. Move with the movement, man. This is what we got going on right now. This is a Mac Minutes session. Not Mac Minutes. No. I'm tripping. Not Mac Minutes. This is a Mackin' with Mac session. Mackin' with Mac book review series. Anyone who knows me knows that I am a stickler for philosophy. I love philosophy. Ancient philosophy, different things. Even in philosophy within the contemporary text, I just love it. I love philosophy because philosophy is thinking about thinking on a deeper level. But I think a lot of the ancient philosophy is really great. Specifically, a lot of the philosophy that came out of Africa, came out of Egypt. Egypt specifically, Africa, Egypt, China, Asia. A lot of great philosophers came out of there. But there wasn't really much of a individualistic perspective. It was more broad. But because with a lot of Eastern philosophy, it's not I. It's we, and there's just a collective that throws their energy into a pot, and it represents the whole, the collective. But if I had to pick an individual who is my favorite philosopher, it would be none other than Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche. Some people say Nietzsche. I say Nietzsche. Mama called him Nietzsche. I'm gonna call him Nietzsche. But anyway, no. This Mac with Mac session will be over none other than Thus Spoke Zarathustra. This book I have, the copy I have, and the copy I own is a Barnes and Noble classic, so they published it. Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Yeah, I didn't mean to throw it down like that, but this book, where do I even begin? This book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. It's written in it's very poetic. Come to find out, Nietzsche actually wrote this book. He wrote this book in 10 days. 10 days. I am hella impressed by that because this book is a classic. It resonates through time and history and space and matter. I thought what Tupac did, why am I talking about Tupac? One of the pillars in my mind creatively was always Tupac and how he did Machiavelli, the Don Illuminati, classic album. He did it in 7 days. Nietzsche wrote a whole book in 10 days. I'm not saying one is greater or lesser than the other. I just think it's dope how such Olympian feats were done in such a circumscribed small space of time. I love that. I respect it. I love being a creative myself. Sometimes I have to sit and think with things, and it takes me a little bit more time. But I'm getting better. I'm getting stuff done quicker. But anyway, Nietzsche, German philosopher. This book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Nietzsche was I won't even say Nietzsche was an atheist. He was more of an agnostic, in my opinion. But this book is wrote kind of like in a biblical prose. I think the style that this book was written is very biblical. It's very biblical. It's very poetic. It's not like a book that you just read straight through like a narrative. It's like the way it's organized in the chapters, and how certain chapters are outlined. It's very, it's kind of chaos. It's like organized chaos. I don't know if that makes sense. But Thus Spoke Zarathustra, dope book. I read this right after I graduated from college. So I read this book like around 2011, 2012. Again, it's a dope book. Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Essentially, when I do these book reviews, I want to give you a general understanding that leads you to a solid understanding. So I don't want to break everything down bit by bit. I don't want to tell the tale. I still want you to read it. Read Thus Spoke Zarathustra. But yeah, Zarathustra, that title, Zarathustra, comes from the religion Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism came out of Persia. It's the first known monotheistic religion. It predates all the Abrahamic faiths. Abrahamic faiths being Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. It predates all that. Zoroastrianism was centered around a duality. For everything that is good, there is a negative equivalent or bad equivalent. There's this duality. Heaven was called the Excellent Abode. I love that title, the Excellent Abode. I can't remember what they called hell, but the whole concept of living your best life and going before a tribunal when you die, that comes from Zoroastrianism. If we're going on the spectrum of when religions popped up, they say as of now there are over 200,000 followers. Over 200,000 followers of Zoroastrianism. I actually met one when I was in college. Someone who did practice Zoroastrianism. It's considered an ancient religion, monotheistic. I can't remember the name of the deity off the top of my head right now, but this book is dope. Super dope. The protagonist being Zarathustra. Zarathustra. Thus Spoke Zarathustra. The protagonist being Zarathustra. Zarathustra lived in this village, and I guess something just set off in his mind, and he was like, bump this. I'm just going to isolate myself. So he isolates himself. He goes to the mountains. He goes to these mountains, and existentialism is like personified in his experience in the mountains. Existentialism meaning why we feel the things we feel as humans. What's good, what's bad. All these questions, all these like emotional / spiritual questions, this internalized dynamic. Zarathustra is going through it. And it kind of reminds me of like Moses when he isolated himself. Zarathustra did the same thing. He just isolated himself. How Moses isolated himself in the Bible. Zarathustra did this in this book. But yeah, Zarathustra isolates himself, asks himself a whole bunch of high-minded questions. Once he leaves the mountains, he goes down. He encounters a saint, an older saint, and a saint. I want to say that came from like I forgot the term they use for the saints that isolate themselves and dictate them. They just not dictate. They just decide to center their whole lives around God. Is it not an abbey? The name escapes me right now. But Zarathustra met a saint or a monk type figure, and he tells him God is dead. The term God is dead, it came from this book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. One of Nietzsche's other writings is called The Gay Science. I think he mentioned the death of God in that. But it's not, I don't process, when he said God is dead, I don't take that to mean dead as far as irrelevant or like an actual death. To me, it's symbolic of transition. God, as we perceive God, as we knew God, our understanding has changed. It's not that God has died. Our understanding of what God actually is has transitioned and changed. In this book, after, he tells the guy, I hope he knows God is dead. He didn't mean like there literally is no God. but just the concept of how we perceive God, how our minds process God, that has evolved. There's more to God. We can't even really fully perceive God. That's why I hear people say that Nietzsche was an atheist. I don't think he was. I feel like he's more of an agnostic, meaning someone who was trying to perceive what God is, or if there is a God. But there's no definitive statement as if there is no God. I hope I'm making sense. Connect with me. But yeah, after he leaves the saint, talks to him, he goes into the village and he sees a guy walking on a tightrope. And this is pretty much symbolic of what Nietzsche said as far as the Uberman theory. The Uberman, which translates into Superman. Nietzsche actually is, his sister dated a Nazi or dealt with some Nazis, and she gave the Nazis a lot of his writings. And the Nazis totally took Nietzsche's stuff and reinterpreted it to justify not only white supremacy, but just German nationalism and a lot of the propaganda that the Nazis had. The Uberman was never meant to be like a physical person or a physical group or race of people that is better. No. Uberman is just a superior man morally. In this book, he constantly said man is something to be overcome. Perfect example, the guy walking on the tightrope, the guy actually represented like the will to power. The will to power meaning man's ability to think and will things into existence. The tightrope meaning man or humanity. A lot of times, when you're dealing with the flesh, the physical body, you're dealing with distortions, you're dealing with fear, doubt, self-preservation, just the little idiosyncrasies of the flesh. But the Uberman is high-minded, it's spiritual, it's godlike, as the Five Percenters would say, God body, higher self. So on the tightrope, the guy's walking, and I felt like the rope represented mankind and how we have to transition from lower self or carnal-mindedness, fleshly things. We have to transition into high-minded things. God body, Uberman. We're not going to be a victim of we're not going to allow ourselves to be a victim of our desires, our fears, our feelings. The Uberman transitions that. Uberman being high-minded ideals that we can actualize if we discipline ourselves. But yeah, this book I think is hella dope. It's compulsory reading. Let me quote some things from this book. You hire men, so the mob link, there are no higher men. We are all equal. Man is but man before God. We are all equal before God. But now this God has died before the mob. However, we will not be equal. You hire men, go away from the marketplace. I always took that to mean like the marketplace is like just greater society. And when he says hire men, transitioning this groupthink mentality. What else did he say? For the great despisers are the great reverers. Overcome, you hire men, the petty virtues, the petty prudences, the sand-grained dissertation, the ant's pretensions, the wretched contentment, the happiness of the greater number. He has heart who knows fear, but conquers it, who sees the abyss, but with pride. Basically, you ever read that book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull? Even the concept from the Five Percenters, Father 13, Clarence 13X. Everything's about being an individual and not getting caught up in groupthink mentality. And this book is centralized around that. Not being caught up in the crowd, being an individual, thinking for yourself, not succumbing to peer pressure, and not becoming alienated from yourself, forsaking yourself for the crowd. We don't do that. That's what he pushes. The greater man, the Uberman. And when I say man, I mean that just humanistically, man, male or female. More quotes. The lonely one offers his hand too quickly to whomever he encounters. One repays a teacher badly if one only remains nothing but a pupil. Become who you are. Synchronize everything I'm saying. Everything essentially leads back to being an individual. To not forsaking yourself, being kind to yourself, learning yourself, understanding who you are, and not just mirroring everything that you think people want you to be. I think Kurt Cobain had this quote where he said, "I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for something I'm not, for who I'm not." This book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, it speaks to that paradigm. Being an individual, not following a crowd. But yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel 82 Kings. I hope you glean something from this. Doing this book review, this Mackin' with Mac session, this book review was very difficult. Because Nietzsche is very difficult. Nietzsche is very complex. Nietzsche is the greatest individual philosopher that I can think of. I hope I did this book justice. I hope you glean something from this. Nietzsche his writing is very sporadic. He always says, "Embrace your inner chaos." His inner chaos manifested in his writing. There's just so many things in this book, ways it can be processed. Here we are. It's very postmodern thought, where you just question the established thought processes and the established theories, the established paradigm of society. Very daunting task trying to break down Nietzsche. But email me, get at 82 Kings. I'll put that at gmail.com. I'll put the link in the description. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Comment, talk to me. I'm talking to y'all. I get views. I know y'all watching. Talk to me. Let me know. Signing out from the Dogon. It's the homie Mac. Each one, teach one. Peace and love. Be yourself.